So it says, where the place? Up in the heat, there to meet with Macbeth. So you will find that in this particular reference, so what is the condition of the spectators? The condition knew, the spectators knew that ultimately I am entering into the Globe Theatre for watching a play, watching a drama that named Macbeth. And then, for the first time, while they are sitting on the, there or maybe standing in front of the stage, the witches are coming. The witches, somehow, these are the people were not prepared to face them, and the witches uttered the name Macbeth. So the curiosity moves to the highest extent. He says, there to meet with Macbeth. The question suddenly arises, who is this Macbeth, right? And then there are some references. I come, Grey Malkin, paddock calls, and then Grey Malkin is the cat, and the paddock is a toad. Bang. So, first of all, they find that they are coming, the witches are coming to meet Macbeth. That means they have some pre-scheduled scheme for Macbeth being prepared. Second, there are some references to the ominous characters. You see that whenever you will find the witches, whenever you are finding the sorcery, the references of supernatural, there are references of the cats, the black cats, you see. It's Grey Malkin. The Grey Malkin is referring to the cats in general. So I come, Grey Malkin, paddock calls, and so animal images, obviously. Major images in Macbeth is another topic that is for you, very important. And why such kind of images have been incorporated, why the images are used in the plays, just because, say for example, in this play, under the guidance of different imageries in Macbeth, you will find that the sleep image, cloth image, blood imagery, animal imagery, these are dominating. Why these are incorporated? Because you are focusing on the animalistic impulses of the human being. What Macbeth is driving or being striven after, he is trying to possess his place. And possession, hunger, sex, and possession. These are the three chief ingredients of the animals, or chief instinctual patterns of animals. And in Macbeth, you can find that Macbeth is suffering from one of them, and that is possessiveness. He's trying to possess his place, right? That's why the animals have been incorporated. It says, I come, Grey Malkin, paddock calls, anon. And then it says, the famous lines, as I have discussed, fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover to the fog and fill the air. Fair and foul, these are antithetical terms. In figure of speech, actually, this particular line is being considered as a figure that is called chiasmus. Chiasmus. Chiasmus, this is an example of where AB, BA becomes, or AB becomes BA. Fair is foul, ekdom ulte giye hocche foul is fair, right? So fair is foul and foul is fair, hover to the fog and fill the air. What it signifies actually? Fair is foul refers to what is fair to them becomes foul to others, and what is foul to others becomes fair to them. Similar, you see that the fundamental focus of these creatures or the witches is to make out of all fair activities something foul for them, and they are changing the fair things into something foul. মানে ভালো জিনিসগুলোকে নিয়ে খারাপে ট্রান্সফার করবে, আর নিজেদের যেগুলো খারাপ সেগুলো মানুষের মধ্যে চালনা করবে। এটাই হচ্ছে মূল ব্যাপার ওখানে। হ্যাঁ, টেক্সটের মধ্যে পুরো জায়গাটাতেই কিন্তু এই চেঞ্জটা সাইড বাই সাইড রয়েছে, যে ফেয়ার ইজ ফাউল, ফাউল ইজ ফেয়ার, উল্টে দিচ্ছে পুরোপুরি। হ্যাঁ, পুরোপুরি এদিক ওদিক হয়ে যাচ্ছে। ওরা যে কতটা খারাপ, মানে কতটা ওরা ব্যাপারগুলোকে নেগেট করতে চাইছে, পরিস্থিতিগুলোকে চেঞ্জ করতে চাইছে, সেগুলো কিন্তু ওদের অন্যান্য অ্যাক্টিভিটিস গুলো থেকে কিন্তু অনেকটাই বুঝতে পারা যায়। যেখানে ওই দেখবে there is a reference to the sailor's wife, yes, ওখানে আছে দেখবে যে sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap and munched, give me কোথায় around the witch the rampant Ranian cried. এবার সেখানে বলছে যে in a sieve I will go there, মানে সেখানে যাব দিয়ে ওই ওখানে গিয়ে পৌঁছে গিয়ে ওদের জাহাজটাকে ডুবিয়ে দেবো আর কি, মানে ওর যে হাজব্যান্ড যেখানে রয়েছে। আমি ওই ইমেজটাকে নিয়েই বলছিলাম যে এটা আসলে রিপ্রেজেন্ট করছে ম্যাকবেথকে, যার সেলার্স ওয়াইফের মাথার মধ্যে ঢুকে যাবো বা ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি, এগুলো সবকিছু সেখানে হবে। মানে ওখানে দেখবে যে দেখো কি নিয়ে এসছি, এখানে এক জায়গায় বলছে যে দাঁড়াও আমি জায়গাটা খুঁজে বার করি, তো সেখানে বলছে যে কি নিয়ে এসছি এখানে দেখো। ওকে, আমি একটু পড়ছি ওই জায়গাটা থেকে। এখানে বলছে যে where hast thou been, sister, killing swine? Sister, where thou? A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap and munched, give me, quoth আমি বললাম আমাকে দাও, around the which the rampant Ranian skies. Her husband is to Aleppogan, master of the tiger is the sheep, but in a sieve মানে চালুনি আর কি, I will thither sail, and like a rat without a tail I will do what? I will do harm. Okay, the second which says আমি help করব, I will give the wind, oh thou art kind, and I another, I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know, in the shipman's car, এইবার ওই জায়গাটা যেটা বলছিলাম একটু আগে, যে I will drain him dry as hay. Basically you will find that is draining as hay. Actually it is referring to Macbeth, that Macbeth's condition will be just like a hay. hay মানে জানো তো খড় আর কি, ওই বিচলির মতো আর কি। So I will drain him dry as hay, মানে Macbeth will become dry because there will not be anything positive within him any longer. Sleep shall neither night nor day, as I've already discussed. Hang upon his penthouse lid, penthouse বলতে এখানে আইটাকে বোঝাচ্ছে, চোখের ওপর আমি ঝুলে থাকবো আর কি, তার চোখের পাতার ওপর ঝুলে থাকবো। So sleep, hang upon his penthouse lid, he shall leave a man forbid. So Macbeth will lead a forbidden life, right? He shall leave a man forbid. Weary 7 nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Actually, it is referring to the condition of the berg that will be tossed. But literally, it is referring to Macbeth's psyche, Macbeth's conscience. Macbeth will suffering from that particular kind of crisis. It says, weary 7 nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak and pine. দুলবে পুরোপুরি, Macbeth পুরোপুরি দুলছে দেখবে, to be or not to be crisis চলছে ওর মধ্যে পুরোপুরি হবে। Though his bird cannot be lost, বার্কটা লস্ট হচ্ছে না, yet it shall be tempest tossed. So that means that the tempest will come. This tempest is actually referring to the inner conscience, the anxiety. Macbeth is suffering actually. Towards the end of this play, you will find that Macbeth is suffering from this kind of anxiety. So though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have. এবার কি নিয়ে আসছে ওখানে? Show me. Here I have a pilot's thumb. Pilot's thumbটাকে নিয়ে আসছে ওখানে. So here I have a pilot's thumb. Raked as homeward he did come. A drum, Macbeth doth come. And then the preparation, Macbeth is coming and Macbeth is entering, and then তারা একটা mesmerizing spell একটা erect করছে, ওই যখন বলছে যে the weird sisters hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus to go about, thrice to dine and thrice to mine and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charm is wound up. এই চার্মটা যখন ছড়িয়ে দিচ্ছে, Macbeth enters and Macbeth speaks the same words, same phrases that have been used by the witches at the first scene. So literally এই যে বলছে থাম্বের রেফারেন্সটা আছে, যেটা বলছিলাম আমি যে here I have a pilot's thumb, raked as homeward he did come. What is the importance of the thumb, you know? That there is a reference to a sailor, okay? There is a reference to a sailor is driving a ship. So what is the importance of the thumb? Without thumb you cannot steer. You cannot just grip the steering. So if you lose your thumb, that means your steering will go out of control. That means your bark will be lost completely. So that is actually indicating Macbeth's condition. That is actually indicating to Macbeth's future, that his bark will be lost. Okay, Macbeth will be swayed from his actual destination. And that is the fundamental thing that the witches are thinking, you know, making everything foul. That is fair to Macbeth. So these are the indications of the negative aspects that have been being incorporated with the witches, and how the witches are to some extent guiding the living creatures into destruction, right? So this is the particular reference. So fair is foul and foul is fair, hover to the fog and fill the air. This fog and field is referring to the atmosphere, it is referring to the outer world, it is actually referring to the nature. the natural perspectives and the outer section of the world, and that is fundamentally referring to the macrocosm, obviously, because when Macbeth is suffering, or Macbeth, the evil is incorporating Macbeth, then ultimately you will find that its impressions have been felt by the outside world, and that's why the fog and field is necessary there. Literally, they are meaning that when the fog and field will come and they will arrive at this particular place. It is actually referring to the inner conscience, inner mind, that is foggy and fieldy. You see, foggy because it cannot be visible. It is completely beyond your control of looking at something, and it is fieldy because it is dirty kind of thing. So there are also references where Macbeth is killing Duncan, the outside world is getting feverish, and the temperature goes high. So there are the references, are, that Shakespeare is always referring to them. In the storm scenes, for example, in King Lear, when King Lear is suffering from the anxiety, it is being reciprocated by nature. Nature, you can trace there is a storm, is blowing with all its force, all its power. So this is also another kind of thing. Shakespeare is always using these kinds of references, where the inner conscience and suffering from multiple kinds of crisis, the outside world is also participating in the human action. Okay, pathetic fallacy kind of thing. So these are there. So that is the fundamental thing. I take your note, there is a handwritten section that is called the treatment of the supernatural in Macbeth. I am reading from that. Here it says, handwritten, okay, it's in the later part. The supernatural plays an important role in the tragic world created by the great masters of tragedies. The title of this answer is the treatment of the supernatural in Macbeth. What it says, it is the presentation of some force which is extra-human. Okay, the ancient Greek masters had admitted large place to the Deus ex machina. That is very important. That's why I need this particular reference. Deus ex machina, as we have known, it is considered as the crisis solver. You see what happened, that the ancient, in ancient Greek literature and ancient classical texts, especially tragedy, there we find a character like Deus ex machina. This comes to the forefront, crisis solver, you see. The crises that have been made, he comes to the forefront and solves everything. It is called Deus ex machina, and Shakespeare is using them because, it is the prime contriver of the play. Witches, without the witches you cannot find that Shakespeare is writing Macbeth. Macbeth's destination cannot be structured without witches. So what it says that had admitted large place to the Deus ex machina in their tragic patterns of life. In Aeschylus, it made its early appearance. The introduction of ghosts was taken over by Euripides and especially developed by him as spirits, symbols, and even instruments of revenge. Ghost is coming to take revenge. These were there in the classical work. Seneca seized upon, the spelling is problematic, they seized upon them and then they passed over to Kid. Okay, the spelling is also different, Kid, and to the Elizabethan theatre generally. Shakespeare took ghosts as he took witches, says Grierson, from popular superstition and psychologized them so far as the conditions of his stage allowed, double L. In his treatment of the supernatural, Shakespeare is indebted to various sources such as Holinshed's Chronicle, as I mentioned earlier, that it's Raphael Holinshed's Chronicles of England, Scotland and Ireland, that is the source book from where Shakespeare is taking the story matter of Macbeth and Duncan and others, though he is changing. I'm referring to Banquo, okay? Banquo is a character which was in Holinshed's Chronicle who is supporting Macbeth, but in Macbeth, that is Shakespeare, Banquo is an antithetical character, that is foil to Macbeth, a different character. Banquo is a good character. Why? Because Banquo is being considered, not considered, rather Banquo is the forefather of the Stuart dynasties, you see. And James I, that is the king, when Macbeth is writing this play, James I was a descendant of Banquo. So you cannot just provide the forefather of king as an evil character. So Shakespeare changed him. So in his treatments of the supernatural, Shakespeare is indebted to various sources such as Holinshed's Chronicle, Harsnet, Reginald Scott and Metamorphosis, that is Ovid. Moreover, being under the royal patronage of James I, who had an obsessive interest in the supernatural, Shakespeare has recourse to the supernatural intervention in human life. whatever may be his sources, Shakespeare treated the supernatural in his own way, obviously. Indeed, in Shakespeare's hand, the witches remain more memorable in their mysteries or mysterious identity than their less subtle originals in the Chronicle of Holinshed and the pages of Harsness and Reginald Scott. Apart from the influence of the source materials, the aesthetic manipulation of the contemporary supernatural conventions by Shakespeare is unique in its restraint and subtlety of approach. So that's why you will find that Shakespeare's treatment of the supernatural as being represented by the witches, these are very somehow novel, you see. Okay, so why it is called novel? Because the way the other people or the Shakespeare's predecessors dealt with the supernatural orientation, Shakespeare considered them as something different. In a different way, in a different representation, Shakespeare made them available. So that is the first scene, and you will find that it is almost 12 and a half lines, that is almost 13, and that's why it is also referring to some negative aspects or indicating to some negative aspects. So today up to this, in our next lecture we will move towards the other scene, that is probably it is the dagger scene, and altogether we will deal with some other topics, say for example Lady Macbeth and others, the major images. These will be discussed in detail, and the texts will be also being discussed. Okay, so today up to this, just go through the text, go through the materials first, go through the story matters. Probably I have given you, yes, a summary and critical commentary. I have given all these things. If you it is very good for you to go through the text, because you have ample time at this moment, because you are in your room probably. And first of all, go through the text or the summary and critical commentary, then go through the materials, and obviously this particular video, that is the teaching video. It is for the first time that I am making this. The present scenario is bringing me to such a desperate situation, you see. So I think it will help you. So in our next video or next class, we will discuss the later parts. So today up to this. Thank you.